Hello out there, YouTube, and welcome to another PE Slick podcast episode. I'm going live right now. Thank you for those who have stayed on and been following my work. I've been doing a lot over the phone interviews, and recently I've been going live. It's been a blast. And currently, right now, I have a guest with me from Baltimore, Maryland, which is where I'm at. He is a rapper here. This is the second time I have an artist come on. The first time was Pat Rini. And he today is a Baltimore rapper. He has very good music out there right now. And I'm happy to have him come on. He's going to sign on in a few. His name is Zane the Don. And I hope you guys stay tuned. I hope you get ready to learn some info. And I'm excited about it. All right. And thank you for anybody who's been tuning in for the past podcast and with the reunions. I'm working on doing a high school reunion as well. It's just a thought, I have some friends who I haven't seen in a while, and I thought about putting that together. But yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, we're getting ready to be joined in by Zane the Don himself. All right, let me see here. No, I'm not trying to rap. Even though I am trying to learn how to play the saxophone, no, I'm not trying to do that. I guess you can say I'm getting ready for this rapping, and I'm no interested. But I'm waiting on Zay now. He's gonna sign on in a few. Hope everybody's doing okay during this pandemic, though. By the way, there's a lot going on. I know Maryland is slowly opening up right now, but please stay, be careful. Do what you're doing. Stay safe, stay distant. Like the Hercules song, "Go the Distant." Stay a little distant. I don't want nobody to, become ill any kind of way, even any more than what's going on out here. I hope eventually things, well, I'm 50-50 about it. I don't know about work-wise and all that, but at the same time, I know people still got to pay bills and all that, but yeah. But yeah, I'm just, waiting. Let me see if I can catch him. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Oh, here you come. Okay.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Staying healthy, out the way. See, I'm my quarantine area. Got my mic. I'm in process of making history. You already know, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. I'm glad you. I was gonna ask you, man. How are you holding up during this pandemic, man?
Oh man, it's been tough, as coming up as an aspiring artist, but you find ways to get around certain things. You get the network and you stay afloat and you maintain during these times, man. So I just try to stay focused, man. Keep my mind focused on the things I want versus the things I don't want. You know what I mean? And it works out for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so much going on right now with all that, and it's like people not being sure, and negativity is going around and all that. And it's like you gotta be positive about this, and hopefully I know things are going to turn around and all that. So
already it's going.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you for coming on tonight, man.
Yes,
tell me a bit about yourself, though, man. Are you from Maryland?
I grew up in Baltimore area. Columbia, between Columbia, Baltimore, and like Elk Ridge. I've lived all over the place though. I've lived in Dallas, I've lived in Ohio, I've lived in North Carolina, Virginia. I was born, a lot of people don't know this about me. I was born in Los Angeles though, you know what I'm saying? So when it come down to it, like my family, they from Belize. So the story behind that, how I ended up being born in LA, my mother ended up crossing over the border,
Mm-hmm.
meeting my dad, and she had me in LA when she was 17. So yeah, that's a little history lesson about me. So I
Okay.
did one. I lost my damn
Um.
green, bro.
Oh.
Oh, we good, we good, we good.
Okay. So when you was growing up, like what kind of hobbies did you have? I mean, were you thinking about going into music then?
Hold on, let me turn my volume up. Not necessarily. I was more of a basketball player. I was like into sports heavily. I was doing a lot of things like that.
Right.
It never really dawned on me that I was gonna get into music until after I got out of prison in 2014. But
Mm-hmm.
see, what had happened before that, I was always into music. I was always like freestyling, and I was better than everybody. I always knew in my mind, like, all right, first I'm gonna get an NBA contract, then I'm gonna start my record label. I'm gonna sign everybody in Baltimore. Like that was my first
Right.
plan. Didn't go according to plan with the basketball, but you know what I mean. I maintained my musical stature as far as sharpening my craft and getting better, learning how to make music, and then learning the business aspect of it as well. So
Right.
that's something I've been growing with. Yeah.
Okay. So you say you was in the basketball. You're a Michael Jordan fan or Shaquille O'Neal fan?
Uh oh, there it is. Drop my green on the ground. Michael Jordan is definitely the GOAT. Michael Jordan, I hate to say this to a lot of LeBron fans. I give LeBron this. LeBron might be the best all-around player, but
Mm-hmm.
the greatest player, Michael Jordan, hands down,
Exactly.
unblemished. He unblemished in the finals. There's nothing nobody could take away from the man. He's just that great.
Right.
So I give it to Jordan, Kobe second, LeBron. So that's my top
Okay.
three. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Michael
would,
was a big influence on me a little bit because I thought about playing ball a little bit back then when I was watching Space Jam and all that. And
yeah, that
yeah,
was it.
he
Yeah, that
definitely is
was
the
it.
goat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
I always get into a debate with people, but people love LeBron so much for what he do off the court. That's what I'm saying. Like he gets his credit. I give it to him. Like
Right.
on the court and off the court. Off the court, he's the greatest player of all time. Off the court,
Right.
I give him that. Better than Kobe, better than LeBron, better than a lot of other people. I won't say like, well, back in the day when you start talking about like Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain and those guys who pioneered African Americans to have a career and be able to make a lot of money today, the things that they
Right.
had to endure off the court as well as on the court, you really can't compare it. I can sit here and say Bill Russell's the greatest of all time. He got, you know what I mean, Kareem, you know what I mean? Those guys.
Right.
Kareem got the most championships. So, but I think it just goes down to, you know what I mean, the type of impact it has on players to come. Because when you think about it, growing up, everybody wanted to be like Jordan. Nobody grew up wanting to be like Kareem. Not taking away from Kareem. Not saying
Right.
nobody didn't want to, but everybody wanted to be like Mike. You know what I'm saying? They made a song about it. You know what I'm saying? So when
Hmm.
it came down to it, man, I feel like he had more of a imprint on the game than Kareem from a popularity standpoint or even just a marketing standpoint with him in his shoes. But
Right.
off the court, I gotta give it to LeBron, man. I gotta give it to LeBron, even though I didn't know what it was like back in the day, dealing with all the racism for African American basketball players back then. But I
Yeah.
assume that it was hard, but the level to which is coming and the revolution of the game into what these guys have made it, that's amazing to see. And it's a debate that can be argued all day, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going with the GOAT Jordan. No, I'm going with Jordan.
Same here, man. Same
Yeah,
here.
bro. Yeah, bro.
I know back then I was into Michael, and then I was into you remember Patrick Ewing and then Charles Barkley, and
Yeah,
then they all
yeah,
came from the Bulls and all that, and then
yeah,
LeBron, and you know,
yeah. Right. That's
um,
It's tough back then, man. That's when players was playing. They were playing to hurt you. They were, you know what I'm saying? Now
right,
they barely would touch you now. Like and it's crazy how much the game evolved. But I like it, man. It's more offense than defense, but offense sells tickets, keeps people entertained. Uh,
right.
although I like to see the best players win at the end of the day. So yeah,
Absolutely. Are you a Ravens fan?
all the way, a
There
diehard,
you go.
all the
Look, I
way.
had to
You
be
know,
I had to be sure. You know a certain individual. You know
I,
him. He's a Cowboys fan.
yeah. Oh man, hey, shout out to my cousin, shout out to Devin, man. I hate to give it to him every year with the memes, man, with them Dallas Cowboy memes, but he knows, man. He know that his boys ain't right. He know them
Right.
boys. They got some rebuilding to do. It's America's team, so I'll be sure that to see them in the playoffs maybe one day. But yeah, I'm saying that's all up to them, man. I don't think that I'm going with the Ravens all day though. I gotta give it to them.
Right.
We got the best
Yeah.
quarterback in the league. There's nobody messing with us this season. So I'm ready. I'm definitely pumped. You feel me?
Hey man, I'm there with you, man. I'm
Yes,
telling
sir.
you.
It's going down this year.
So
And
when you have you always? Well, I know you had an interest in basketball. So like, what kind of did you have an influence as far as an artist growing up, like
oh
Biggie
yeah,
Smalls or 50 Cent? Anybody?
my influence is a little different than probably most people. When I first
Hmm.
was listening to music, first person I heard was Jay-Z. So automatically, but before that, it was Michael Jackson. It
Right.
was Prince. It was Whitney Houston. I was definitely on the R&B side because I used to sing in the church choir. Not a lot of people know that about me. I was singing in church choir for at least 5 years, and
Right.
once I started to hit puberty, I started listening to Jay-Z. So rap, it was Jay-Z. Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise was like the first song I ever memorized in my life. The
Right.
Jay-Z joint, Can I Get a Fuck You? You feel me? That joint was one of the first songs with him and Ja Rule in that joint.
Hmm.
Uh, Bone Thugs. Uh, Coming up was a huge imprint on my life. Bone Thugs and Harmony, the way they were able to, you know what I mean, mix
Right.
the lyrical content with the melodic, and their flow was so unique at the time where it was like it would be hard for, and they was just relatable. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple guys from Cleveland that just got together and made fire music. That like it don't get no better than that. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. And then now look at them, they're legendary. So you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I got to give the respect, and a lot of these guys don't realize this, but the music that they made is being copied by a lot of these so-called new guys that claim to, you know what I mean, be the greatest when they really got it from Bone Thugs. That flow like that, that's Bone
Mhm.
Thug. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like people ain't gonna give them credit, but the real recognize the real, and they always gonna be the one to vouch for that. I
Right.
definitely learned from them. Uh, Jay-Z, DMX, Ludacris, motherfucking who else? Eminem a little bit. Definitely
Hmm.
Tupac. Biggie, I
Oh
think
yeah, definitely.
he was great. Biggie was great. I put Tupac before Biggie, but there's some things about Biggie that I just that took a few points away. Just say that. He
Hmm.
has one song out where he was talking about his wife, his girl, and then she was so bad that he would suck her dad's dick. That's a little too extreme for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can't get down with that. Not saying he was gay. That was some gay shit to say though. But I don't, that's not to say
Man.
anything bad about the gay community and nothing like that. I do y'all,
Right.
but me personally, I that deducted some points off of the GOAT conversation with Biggie. So I
Right.
would I would definitely Lil Wayne, uh, you know what I'm saying. So those are the main pioneers for me. 50 to an extent. Uh, yeah, as far as new, like I like all the new guys now. I like Migos. I like the Uzi Verse. I like the Mellies, and I like all of these, the babies and all of them. You know what I mean? Like they good
Right.
artists, and I even like some local artists. If you don't mind, I'll shout out Mac Hickey, Easy Green, Square to God, YS, Ace the Rip. You know what I mean?
Right.
My man Avon out Baltimore, representing Baltimore. Tracy Fever out Charlotte. Uh, you know what I mean? If I miss
Right.
anybody, they know they know. Hey, those guys there. And I'm a major fan of music. Period. So it doesn't just have to be one genre. Like I was into Celine Dion at one time. I was in, you know what I'm saying? I was in the rock
Right.
and roll. I was in the, you know what I mean? Blink
Hmm.
182, Gorillas, motherfucker, Slipknot, Korn, System of a Down. you know, Green Day, all of those, man. It's a lot of shit that I get into musically. You know what I'm saying? Tim
Right.
McGraw on the country tip. You know what I'm saying? Like I like all varieties of music. I even like classical orchestras and shit, Mozart and shit. Like I play piano,
Yeah.
so I definitely whenever I get in there, I play all of these, you know, all of these historical pieces. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's just a part of history, and I'm willing to do whatever it is to get my share, You know what I'm saying? And that's why I do what I
Right.
do. You know,
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's important too with when somebody that's not just talking about you, I mean in general, that people, hear different styles of music just to kind of get an idea of where they want to go to
right?
musically when they transition.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
sir.
interesting. I didn't know you was into Tim McGraw.
Man, hey, people don't. It's a lot of stuff that people don't would never guess until I disclose that. You know what I mean? But it goes a lot into my creative processes because you having that wide window, that wide variety of influence, and also
Right.
I can't forget my boy Chester, my nigga Chester, man. With why I keep forgetting his name, dog. I always forget the group, and I'm high. It's because I'm high, probably. But
Oh man.
my man Chester, the lead singer of the motherfucking God Lee. I tried so hard and got so far. Who is that? You feel me? You know what I'm talking about. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm talking about?
I
Uh,
would have to I gotta hear that song in the top of my head because like the only two groups I got on my mind that I listen to almost every day is Temptations and New Edition.
Temptations. See, now you about to. If we gonna have this discussion, we got to talk about Temptations. We got to talk about everybody from Motown. We got to bring everybody back to life, man. Like, hold on, I'm about to.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm forgetting my man. Hold on, I'm about to tell you. Chester, Chester Bennington from ah Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park, bro. That was
Okay.
my Lincoln Park was, and to sit here and not have that name off the top of my dome is I should be slapped in the face. I probably I'm gonna slap myself for that. But you know what I'm saying? Like whole time I grew up heavily on Lincoln Park, stupid heavy. And for them, when I saw them do that collab with Jay-Z and everything like that, that to me was a groundbreaking moment in music,
Mhm.
not just hip hop, but to bring that rock and roll and that you know what I mean, that hip hop lane together the way
Right.
they did was genius. It was genius, man. It was genius,
Absolutely.
genius.
Yeah. So when you first started rapping, do you remember what the first song was that you wrote?
Oh man, seventh grade. I was in Ohio at the time. It was another dude named Zach. I can't remember his name, but we started a group called TAM or some shit. I forgot
Hmm.
even what it even stood for. The Absolute Mob, yeah, the Absolute Mob, yo. We was seventh grade going talking about some TAM. So yeah, the first song I ever wrote, it was called Straight Mobbing, and the hook was so because I was young at the time. The hook was so weak, but you couldn't tell everybody at our school that because we were celebrities. Even though at the time I liked the hip hop and I wanted to be
Hmm.
a rapper, but I wanted to play basketball, so I was going all in. But when my man had a studio and I went up in there and laid some shit, I was like, we be straight mobbing because that's a job. We don't need to do nothing but be the absolute mob because we be straight mobbing like all the time. And if you hate it, still hating, then dog, that's fine because I'm gonna keep doing what I do to keep me glad. And if you want to take my style, you can keep it, fag. There will never ever be enough because my name was Young Zay at the time. There will ever
Right.
never be another Young Zaya, your boy who be crazier than the Al Qaeda. A lot of niggas who know me don't really know me. That's why I stay going to court like Kobe. Cause dumb ass niggas don't know my limits. So I be whipping on cats till I feel I'm finished and they diminished to me. Nowhere to be seen. That's how I've been living and I'm only 13. Hey yo,
Man.
this nigga was going in, bro. I was going in. I got that
Man.
whole verse memorized still, bro. I'll never forget that.
Favorite rapper of 2020 in Baltimore goes to this guy right here.
Man, hey, salute, bro. Salute. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying my best, brother. I'm trying my best, man.
Hey
Trying to do
man.
things good for the city. I ain't trying to take nothing. I'm trying to bring something. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is.
There you go. I mean, I know it's probably hard. 'Cause I know with artists, it's hard for me to pick a favorite song. But when you first, well, between when you started and now, what song stuck the most to you?
Growing up, what songs was meant the most to me?
Yeah, what that you made.
Oh man, um, you wouldn't believe this, but I made a gospel song one time. I feel like that was the most important song to my, like, at some point I will be recording it. I just don't know when exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote it and with a couple brothers of mine and shit. So it was, you know what I mean, no cussing in it. It was straight, you know what I mean? But as far as what
Right.
song out now, I would have to say that's a tough one, yo, because I got a lot of music out. But I think my favorite song is All or Nothing. And a lot of my real ones, they that may be watching right now, they know what song it is. A lot of people wouldn't know. It's on the Don King mixtape. It's called the Don King mixtape, and the song is entitled All or Nothing. It's the last track actually on the project, and that one to me I felt like meant a lot to me. So yeah, that probably is
Okay.
one of my favorite. Yeah. Yeah.
When you write your material, have you ever like based a song on like somebody you know, like a woman you knew, or like a family member or anything?
I go one step further, bro. I use a lot of people for motivation and inspiration. Not only that, I also sample their voices in the music, because I incorporate as much as I can into my music without it being too much. So I remember one time I was in the studio with, at the time, the girl I was dating, and
Mm-hmm.
I made a song about her, and we were actually in the studio having sex. We was fucking in the studio while we was recording the song, and I got some of her moans in there. It was a genius song. It's also on the it was genius, bro. I felt like nobody really does that. Like, I try to take things to another level. You know what I mean? That nobody thinks about or does. So that's something about me. Like, I don't
Right.
have a problem with going outside limitations, the expectations, and what people deemed approvable or not. I approve myself. You know,
Right.
I'm self-made. You know what I'm saying? I'm self-approved. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no approval from man. Although I appreciate the support and approval from the people that approve of the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm very, very appreciative, but that's not what I think about going into my sessions. First thing I think about is what is me. Like, I think about me. What do I keep? I want to stay true to myself, which is my important for me, my independent movement, instead of looking to sign with somebody. Because I don't really
Mm-hmm.
need nobody to make music for me. Like, I don't need nobody to really pay me like that. Like, I don't mind. Like, of course, everybody love money. Like, they don't love money, but they, you know what I mean, like having money.
Right.
I like having money. And so I think that, you know, me not doing it for the money per se means a lot more than, you know what I mean, somebody selling out. And not saying I'm selling out or
Right.
anybody else is, to take care of their family. I just like where I'm at right now, and being able to have the freedom to create whatever I want to create, you know, and rap about and release music whenever I want to, and get 100% of my royalties, and nobody takes a cut. That's beautiful. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? A lot more people should know that. I think we have a misconception in hip hop where people believe that they need to sign a deal in order to make a significant amount of money. So not the case. You just got to use your mind. You got to learn and be a student of the game before you can be a player. You know what I'm saying? That's something a lot of guys don't understand. They think they could pay everybody to make their way in, which you can. But at the end, you're going to be miserable. It's why you have a lot of these guys coming out, you know, upset with these 360 deals, because it's a 360 deal. You start back right where you started. You end right where you started. And that's why, you know what I mean, support for people to
Right.
understand the upsides and the benefits of being independent, especially in 2020. I'm talking about billions of dollars have been made by independent artists this year, and it's a growing market. It's something that I think a lot of people would be appreciative if they would learn about it some more, rather than just having somebody do all the work for you. and then having a decision to owning
Right.
you, basically. You know what I mean? Having every decision to make when it comes to time to release music, or what is the content going to be about, and things like that. I just try to encourage people to go to the independent route, because it's way more lucrative at the end, and you'll feel
Oh,
better about
absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's good too when artists, I mean, some people may not start it when they first start, but when they
Mhm.
get to a point where, like you were saying, like they need to learn their own, like where they're going with their music. Or the other thing too that I noticed that I hear, especially after seeing New Edition to the movie 2 years ago, and
Right.
it's shown that people they'll start, but they don't read their contracts. They don't learn about the process of how it gets started. And I think
Hmm.
that's an important factor too. If
Hmm.
you sign on the management or doing, you really gotta know your contract, getting into the finances and everything, that you don't get screwed over. Because a lot of people that you know they'll screw you over.
They will screw you over, and that's their that's a
Yeah,
lot of these guys' main objectives. They want you to sign that deal, because when you get that advance, that you owe that back. People don't understand. They go blow
right,
their money they get for they sign them, but you don't know that you got to pay that back, and they want their money, and and if you don't produce that, then you don't expect them to pay you. You owe them money. You know what I'm saying? So they own you now. So
right,
I can't be a slave to anybody. And if I do sign a deal, I'm trust and believe I'm gonna have a couple lawyers, and we're gonna we're gonna sit down. These numbers have to be more than life changing. And I want to own my own. I need to own my
absolutely,
masters. I want to own my own master. There's nobody's gonna own me and say, Zay, we're not releasing this and we're not releasing that until this happens. Like, I'm not doing that with people. If I make music, as soon as I'm finished recording on the system, I'm ready to get it out to the people. They deserve it. You know what I'm saying? They deserve good music from good people, from real ones. They don't, you know what I mean? And I won't even get in the conversation right now about determining the real from the fake. It's obvious to me, but a lot of people seem to be fuck it, I'll just say it. Misled by niggas like 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? And that's a conversation that I would love to have with anybody that wants to stand on that, because I've been receiving a lot of messages from especially my homeboys that kind of want to lean in the favor to him and give him an explanation, give him an excuse for him to do the things he do. Now, I don't mind that. You know what I'm saying? But my main thing is
right,
that, whenever you get into a certain lifestyle, you know what it is that comes with the territory. So when you start acting big and bad and all that, and then now you turn around just to be a victim and you want people to feel bad for you, so you go snitch on people that were basically shooting people for you, regardless of how it went down. People, they said he slept, got his baby mother fucked, all kidnapped, money took from him. These are all indications that this man's a sucker. You know what I'm saying? So when
right,
do we, as a society, I don't even care, like, if that's your thing, keep that out of hip hop. Don't bring that and then start to bring your fans with you to change the scope of the sculpture of hip hop. Because from what I
right,
grew up on, it was solid. If you told, you get kicked out. Now, a lot of people say Snoop Dogg this, Snoop Dogg that. We'll go into those, but right now, this was a blatant federal move where this man had multiple people sent away for years. These are people's fathers and sons and uncles and nephews and people that count on these people to feed. And for him to make a mockery of it, he get no love from
mm-hmm,
me. And on top of that, you get no street credit from me, because when the pressure was on, you folded. You was facing all that, and then you want to go in there and not only just testify, but come out and then, you know what I mean, troll about it.
right,
And then everybody like, well, if you would have did this, you would have did it too if they would have did that to you. Well, here's why they won't do this to me, because I'm not going for none of that shit. If anybody can kidnap me, you a big man, go ahead and do your thing. You a better man than me. If you can, I'm wholesome. If you can kidnap Zeta Dawn,
right,
I do it. And if I live to come out that motherfucker, best believe you fucked up, because I'm not
right,
going to snitch. I'm not going to the FBI. I don't need the FBI to save me. You feel me? It's a reason why we have street niggas, because these
mm-hmm,
streets are not coinciding with the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it gets done differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I identify things should be. I shouldn't have to go on record and say that Tekashi 6ix9ine is a whore. If
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't being protected by the FBI, I'm sure somebody would have been touched him up. Cause where I came from, you see a pussy nigga, slap a pussy nigga. And that's the way. And I just see a pussy nigga. Cause ain't nobody gonna fuck my baby mother, kidnap me, rob me for money, and then you know what I mean, and beat me.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna do that to me.
No.
Nobody. And if they do, they know I'm not going to the police. They know that they gotta gear up now because it's gonna get real. If it's
Right.
to that magnitude, and that's up to me, because I hold the power. Now, for him to go to the FBI and snitch and do all of that shit, that was some sucker shit. And for everybody else that's defending
Right.
him, y'all some fucking suckers too. And y'all can go right there with him, wherever the fuck he at, being protected by the FBI, because we don't need that shit in hip hop. We solid niggas, and if we do our crime, we gonna do our time. I done did my crime and did my time.
Right.
I did 4 years in the state penitentiary. This nigga's a bitch. I ain't got nothing else to say about it. And that has no place for in hip hop. You can take that shit to country music or to that other shit, pop and hip hop around some real beasts. That shit ain't gonna fly. I tell you right now, 10 times out of 10, every single time. And for everybody that's going for that, it seems to me to be the people that get bitched on a regular basis or coming up, and they got somebody to relate to now. So they're gonna defend them. And it's a lot of them. It's a lot of people like that. But if I have something to
Right.
do with it, I'm gonna kill that shit. If they let me in the game, we gonna kill that shit. It ain't even about the money. He ain't selling out, do some snitch shit for some money. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the money. Cause guess what? Everybody getting
Yeah.
that check, right? Everybody's getting that stimulus check, right? They don't understand by they printing this
Mm-hmm.
paper out that there's the value in the dollar by a lot. So this is why everybody's freaking out and want to open this shit up. Because it ain't gonna be worth shit by the time they come with a vaccine in 2021. It's gonna be too late. Now we have a bunch of money in our pockets that
Right.
ain't worth a damn. And this is why I tell people, everybody wants to value this money as if it's permanent. These means of currency is gonna change, and this dollar is gonna be meaningless, worthless. And everybody look at it like it's the last thing that in the world that you have to let go of. No, it should be one of the first. Because it's enough for everybody,
Right.
if you really think about it. And the number one leading cause of death is not even is hunger. Why aren't we making big news stories about that? 9 million people die a day. That's 25,000 people a day. That's a lot of people. It's not on the news though. We
Yes.
just rather talk about something that gives a 4% death rate. All right, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the cure
The
for
news
that
is
is
all kinds of stuff out.
yeah. But see, hunger is the cure for
Yeah.
hunger is food. Do we
Right.
care really? Do they really care or do they not care? Or is this something bigger, something different in that than this? This is why we got to be honest with ourselves and go educate, man, ourselves, because if you don't educate, you can't assume that they're gonna tell you what's up. You can't assume shit. You got to figure
Right.
it out. Yeah, I be telling people all the time, don't believe what's on these news stations. They're gonna blow it up. They're gonna play the people's emotions. It's psyop. They're gonna put fear in people's heart 1 minute, and they're gonna put anger in the next minute. Then they're gonna put soft shit. You're gonna be all emotionally erect to even know what the fuck's going on for real. And that's why it's so fucking genius on their part. But it's up for us to stay the fuck
Right.
awoke. So they're trying though.
Oh,
They're trying, bro.
absolutely.
They
Yeah.
trying. I'm probably talking a little too much than I should. So I'm just gonna stop there before they come get me like they did,
No,
motherfucker.
hey, listen. Hey, listen. Your
Yeah,
secret safe with me, man. Listen,
I
you was
appreciate it.
preaching the word. You know, that's the thing about podcasts, man. I allow people to take the time to talk. I'm not like others that like cut in and all that. So you was preaching the word there. So,
Well, I appreciate this, man, because this is what the city needs. We need more of this. We need this. Yeah, so you're doing a good job. You're
right.
gonna do a good service for hip hop and for the community. So that's what's up.
I
Appreciate you.
appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
So an artist that you would love to meet.
Um, does he have to be live or dead? Or both?
Oh man. Well, you know, it can either or. You know, it can be alive. It can be deceased. You know, I'm sure people
Okay.
still even though he's not with us. So, yeah.
I think I'm gonna give you one that's alive and one that's perished. So I'm alive.
Okay.
Uh, who do I want to meet alive, man? This is gonna be a hard one, bro. I gotta make sure this one count. It's probably gonna have to be. It's probably gonna have to be Jay-Z, man. It's probably gonna have to be Jay-Z. I want to meet Jay-Z. I gotta
Got
meet Jay-Z.
Okay.
Him or DMX. One of them.
Yeah.
I gotta meet one of them. But dead Tupac.
Right.
Definitely gotta go holler at Pac, man. Or Nipsey. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
See, that's a
Yeah.
hard one right there, bro. I got it, but I'm gonna go with Pac, man, because he was able to see things at a time that I didn't get to see because I was so young at the time. Although I was hollering out Thug Life in the 90s as a young kid. But all in all, you know what I'm saying? I think when I realized his genius, he was already gone, and I was like, dang, I didn't know he was into all kinds of, you know what I mean, things for as far as, you know, black communities, and you know what I mean, how deep he was into uniting people together. And he said something that I always use to this day whenever I talk to people, explaining about how do we get things on a better track as far as getting along with each other and as a culture, instead of, you know what I mean, because we got to
Right.
fight so many other things outside of ourselves, where why isn't it we just come together? But sometimes you got to go, and he said that you got to go into their world in order to bring them out sometimes, which is why he was doing the Thug Life. You know what I'm saying? Why he was coming off as somebody that was gangster like that, but in the back of his mind, he had a plan, and he knew in order to do that. Not saying he didn't come from that, but he had to go in that in order to bring them out of it. And that's important to remember, and because people ain't just want to hear you preaching, coming up to them, hey, have you heard the word of God? Like, nobody wants that. You got to come as them. You know what I'm saying? Come as you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody's better than anybody in my sight, and it should be that way in everybody's sight. But you gotta look at yourself as somebody equal sometimes, in order for them to understand where you're coming from. Because if you come to them from a standpoint where they feel like you better than them, automatically they're turned off. One day out the other treatment. And so, you know what I mean? I try to be careful how I do things these days, especially when I talk to little kids, mentoring kids and things like that, because they always want to be. One thing I know about them, they always want to be older than they actually are. And I got to tell them, like, look, man, you know, I might be older than you, but I'm still a kid at heart. I'm no better than you. You know better than me. So that just be yourself. God made you this age for a reason. Preserve your life. Don't grow up too fast, because I'm telling you, when you do, you're going it's a rude awakening sometimes. You start talking about bills and shit, you're going to want to be 14, 13 again. You know what I'm saying? So
I was there. I think we all was there at some point where it's like, man, I'm going to get older, get out of school, you know, keep going to school Monday through Friday. And you know, once you come out of high school and you know you decide you're gonna go to college or not,
it was real.
Hello adult world, you got all these bills, and especially when you get to a point when you move out your folks' house or family house and get your own place, it's like you got to pay the bills and all that stuff, and
it ain't fun no more. I want to, you know what I mean? You want to play video games still.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But you can't, because you gotta go to work in about 20 minutes. So you gotta sacrifice those things we was doing when we was kids, just so we can maintain the level of quality life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's you know, and that's something that a lot of people can't come to grips with.
Yeah.
So
what when you've been approached by some fans, was there ever a special message or something the fan ever gave you or told you?
Every single person that come up to me that seen that, the first thing, your dreads are real. That's the first thing they want to know. Your fucking dreads are real, dude. That's all they want. Can I touch them? It don't never be. It's sometimes about, but it don't hardly never be about my music. It's about my damn hair, bro. I'm gonna have to get these branded or something, man. We're gonna have to get a Instagram for my dreads, man. We're gonna have to.
And you gonna like the whole album.
The whole album be out and the music be fire. They be like, yo, your music fire. Let me see your dreads though. It's just crazy. Never
Man,
fails.
yeah.
Even people that don't know me, I
So
gotta go
let me
outside
ask
so I
you.
don't. Go ahead.
Oh, now, I was going to ask you. So, like, with everything that's going on in this year, I mean,
Okay.
2020. Not only are we in a new decade, we started out okay, and then COVID-19 happened.
Man.
Looking at that from your perspective, I've asked people in my past episodes, where do you see the world headed to right now, especially between now and when this eventually clears up between now and next year?
Um. Honestly, I do see a vaccine being made. I see a lot more issues that's gonna happen. Not due to the coronavirus. Some of them are. A lot of the problems we're gonna have is gonna be due. I feel like them opening up the government, opening up the economy too early is gonna cause this thing to be carried to a longer period, and it's an unavoidable thing. You're gonna have to shut it down. You're gonna have to shut it down. They probably know this already, due to the how contagious it is. Not just the
Mm,
how it affects people and kills people, but I think it's how it's so contagious, easy to get it. All you gotta do is talk and breathe, and you got corona. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's unfair. It's
right,
unfair to a lot of people, but you know what I
right,
mean? This world has been known to be the most unfair, and it has periods of dark times, and I believe it's going to be a period of dark times that's coming, and it's the start. You know what I mean? I won't get too much into the word, but I do believe this all goes back. There's a lot of people that won't believe in the word, and I understand a lot of the arguments, and that's later for a later
mm-hmm,
time. But one thing I've always known
right,
is that God describes when certain things start to happen. One of them was his third temple in Jerusalem. That you know what I mean. First of all, let's rewind. Once Israel became known as a sovereign country, and they made Jerusalem the capital of Israel, and the Palestinians are pissed. They automatically fulfilled that scripture in time revelation. And so we already know that
right,
we're in a time, if this word is true and this act, and which it did happen, it predicted a lot of everything that's happening. It predicted it. So the predictions, let's call it the predictions more or less than the prophecy. The predictions came true.
right,
So if it goes along this rate, we're looking at how God described it as birth pains. When you talk about women being pregnant, as she gets later in the pregnancy, her contractions start to get
mm-hmm,
closer together and stronger. This is what I'm starting to see here in this
right,
pattern with what's going on. You got all these crazy things going on. You got, you know, the sicknesses, and the floods, and weird deaths of sea creatures washing up the shore, birds dying out the air, weird shit. UFOs is disclosed now. It's a real
right,
thing. They're admitting to it. And so when we start to think about these things, we're noticing that shit is not how it was about few 10 years, decades ago, and which it's never going to be. But then when you start to look at the rapid growth of technology from around when Nikola Tesla died, which he's the real founder of electricity. I'm not even gonna go deep. Because a lot of people ain't ready for this. We grew up and going to school believing that Thomas Edison discovered electricity. No, the fuck he didn't. He had a bunch of motherfuckers working in a facility funded by J.P. Morgan to find new technology, forms of energy. Nikola Tesla was able to break through his designs, and he was wanting to have wireless electricity. The reason why we're able to talk like this, have the electricity, the AC/DC charges and all shit, charge our phones, is because
mm-hmm,
Nikola Tesla, he did not get the credit in which he deserved. J.P. Morgan pulled funding from Edison, tried to use his own technology to disprove him, just to come out as a fucking animal killer. He's killed elephants. Only thing Thomas Edison ever made was the electric chair. Period. I can't make it up. And we're teaching our kids this in
right,
schools. Why I say people got to start being a little bit more less lazy with their education and going finding out the truth is
right,
out here. It's public knowledge. It's hiding in plain sight. But see, here's the thing. So the rapid growth of technology had, compared to the 2,000 years that's on file that we have recorded up until the 1950s. You mean to tell me from the 1950s to where we are today, the technology just went skyrocketed? What happened why couldn't that have happened as time went on? Why did it reach a certain point for
right,
it to skyrocket? And that's the thing we gotta ask, because God tells you these things, man. People gotta wake up and use their minds, man. It's common sense. If I know this has a motherfucking label on this joint that said ginger ale, when I open this can up, I know what the fuck is in this motherfucker. It's just the same with what the Bible told us. When we opened up, God already told us what it was. He said technology will increase rapidly in the book of Jeremiah. So when we start thinking about the things that God, and I hate to have to sound like a pastor to a lot of people that came in here expecting to talk about music, but we gotta talk about the shit that has to do affects music, and this is what it is. And so people gotta understand that this technology being rapidly growing rapidly, is actually a prophecy that's fulfilled. They knew about planes before planes were. They didn't know what they were called. They called them chariots in the sky. Where would these chariots in the sky come from? They weren't playing. The Wright brothers didn't invent it to the early 1900s. And then these things happen, man. And they using ancient Egyptian. I'll take it back. Why are people so easily controlled, manipulated? Because when you hold knowledge and classified information away from the public, you're automatically going to have the control, which is why they're so fascinated with ancient Egyptian tactics and techniques and symbolisms. Because looking back at the dial, you have the ancient temple with the eye of horse on there talking about a new world order at the bottom. Now we have these motherfuckers pushing for new world orders. Every president from George Bush to even now, George Bush Senior, George Bush Senior to now have already told the agenda was to make a new world order. It's so motherfucking public knowledge. Nobody even gives a fuck no more. And that's the way how you get into the psyche of the person. If you could control, like back in the ancient Egyptian days, if you knew when the moon was going to eclipse the sun and the rest of the people didn't, you have power and control automatically. Because now you can tell them any damn thing. And you can put fear in their heart. Nobody knows why that shit happened or when or why they able to predict that shit. But they do. And they use that knowledge against the people to gain the control and power over them. See that? And so you have all of these things that they can't tell everybody, but they know because they need to remain in power. Because if we knew it, what the fuck we need them for? You feel me? It's deep, man. It's deep.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Deep. Yeah, you're giving a lot of knowledge, information to people today, man. I hope people need it, especially the younger generation. Things are way different from when we was growing up to where things are now. So it is important.
It is very, very important, man. Yeah. Very important. That's why I'm concerned about this corona, because it takes out the older population, and that's before all the technology, that's how we got our information. It's through older people. They pass down the knowledge, and it just seems to me they're trying to get that out the way somehow. So I don't like it. I don't like it. But the world. I always say reality is stranger than fiction. It's stranger. We don't even know.
That's a good quote for today. Reality is stranger than fiction.
Amen. There it is. I agree. This blunt is about stale as a motherfucker. I know everybody like, he been rolling this blunt for 20 minutes. Yeah, man.
So tell me your plans right now.
Okay, so right now I got a project. Me and my man Avon, we on with Gilly the Kid right now. Shout out to Gilly the Kid for affording me this opportunity, man, to be on this project he's hosting, and then from there we're gonna be building on bigger and better opportunities. So be look out, man. Zeta Dawn is gonna be a household name here in shortly, but it's not just to make a name for myself. It's also to help a communities that that usually get the shadows. You know what I mean? Because everybody supports artists and that's out now and they love the music, but you know what I mean? I'm not seeing enough, because no matter who's the president, no matter who get on, you ride through the hood, you ride through Baltimore, it's still looking the same. It's still the same. We still got boarded up, beat up cribs. Yeah. We need a lot of people. There's a lot of work, a lot of homelessness. But see, I have an idea where I want people that's homeless to be given the jobs to keep our streets clean, to do whatever their skills permit them to do. There's a lot of people that's skilled out here that all they need is one opportunity.
Right.
We can give them housing, and in return, their services will make sure that everybody can either clean the streets, keep our neighborhoods good, build stuff. You know what I mean? Find new ideas, and then we'll find houses for them, and then that money will help support their rent. We could pay them to do that.
Right.
We could hire branches of people to do anything we want them to do. We can turn the hood into a corporation. But see, here's the problem. There's powers
Right.
that don't want it. We have a lot of money that comes through Baltimore, through our sporting events, through our tourist attractions in the harbor. You can name a lot of things, man. But none of that money is really going to the places we need it to, because there's a lot of crooked faces in a lot of crooked places. So, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure
There you
that
go.
we have some real pioneers here that's ready to gear up, roll their sleeves up, or tear them off, and let's get to work. You know what I'm saying? However we want to do it.
Absolutely,
Yes,
man.
you know,
Man, you done given a lot of good, positive information tonight, man. And I thank you for what you've done tonight. Before we close this, I just wanted to ask you. You given a lot of info, but just what advice can you give somebody that wants to get into being a rapper, or in general, especially what we got on today?
don't expect anybody to give you shit. You got to get it on your own. You got to hustle.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn. Be a student. Work on your craft. Then you can become a teacher or a player. But first, there's levels to it. Meek Mill said there's levels to all of this. You know, starting off, when I first started, I didn't think that, things were gonna play out the way they played out. I was really wanting people to. I was going to people paying for studio time, paying for a lot of shit that I had no idea I could do myself. And that
Right.
and that's what, you want something that's gonna set you apart from the rest. You gotta think about the music game is comparable to a lot of things that we all grew up in and aspire to be, whether it be basketball players or presidents and all of that. But see, you have a lot of people, there's millions of people that want to do these things, millions of kids. There's somebody right now wanting to be an NBA player that's in the gym 4 a.m, 3-a-day workouts, that's trying to take your spot. There's somebody right now in the studio making a hit ass song right now, a fucking banger, that wants to take your contract, or wants to take your tour dates, wants to outshine everybody else. And so in order to be successful, you have to separate yourself from the crowd. You got to do more. If you don't do more, you got to think smarter if you're not going to work harder. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to learn your craft to the fullest capacity, and then network with people that will get you in the right places. The more you talk and work with people, the more doors that will be open to you. It's like a web. Or like the virus right now. One person get it,
Right.
you contract it and spread it all over the damn place. You get some followers that's going to share your music. It'll be more contagious than a virus if it got the right substances to it. So
Right.
for the most part, I encourage people to understand you can't expect people to give you shit. You gotta earn your shit. You gotta work hard. It's gonna be sleepless nights. There's gonna be times where you're gonna be tried, where you're gonna be like, damn, I don't know if I can do this, bro. There's gonna be times where it looks like you ain't gonna make it. It's gonna be impossible. Will make you want to quit. But out of everybody that's made it, there's one thing that they all have in common that everybody must remember, and I'm sure they all heard it, and some people know what I'm finna say, and that's never give up. Never quit. Go strong. Stay focused. I'm telling you, you will see results once you focus your mind on these things, on the things you want. Focus your mind on success. Get a vision board. Keep these things organized. Know what it is that you're setting out to do. Make a plan. Attack it. Seize your moments. Don't be afraid. Be fearless. You gotta be ready. Like if I hold my breath for 30 seconds, on that 29th second, as bad as I wanted that next breath, that's as bad as you're gonna have to want this. Because if you don't want it, you're not gonna get it.
Right.
It's just gonna be a waste of time, a phase that you just be like, oh, I used to rap, and then now look at you, unsuccessful. And the worst thing you could do is go through the rest of your life with regret, than not, you know what I mean, and just finding out. So even if say
Right.
you just aren't, it's just not your destiny, God's purpose for you on earth. That's fine. At least you know. At least you have no regrets. I tried. I gave my best. I did everything I could. I'm just not, I mean, and even after you get that, that's up to you whether you want to quit or not. But don't just not give no effort. So you know what I'm saying? Don't quit. Stay focused and study the law of attraction. I'm gonna give them a little jewel there. The law of attraction. That's a real thing. And the law of attraction is basically we attract what we give. It's kind of like the reap and sow, except it starts here. It's not an action yet. It's kind of an action because you're putting forth the action to think about it. So, all right, I'm thinking about opening up a can of ginger ale in my mind. That's how things start. Then you open up a can. These are how ideas and how things start and how they manifest. Somebody started an idea for live broadcasting, and now it's a thing. Before it happened, it was an idea.
Right.
People would have many years ago. People would have been like, "You're crazy." What? But now look at us. We would be crazy not to use this. You know what I'm saying? So things change once we tap into our minds and how powerful it actually is versus what
we
think it is.
There you go.
Yeah,
you heard them, folks.
Yeah. So with that being said, man, you know what I mean? I encourage everybody to go out there and follow your dreams, whether it be music, basketball, doctor, anything you want to do, even if you just want to be a trash truck driver. Go out there and do it. Put your mind to it. Don't let nobody tell you no. Don't take no. You might get a million no's before you get that one yes, but all it takes is that one yes. And you got to want that one yes as bad as you would have breathe. You know what I'm saying? You need that breath. You need the success. Relate the two together. Keep your mind focused on positive energy, positive things versus negative things. So, for example, like if I'm sitting onto a free throw line to ice the game, in my mind, I'm gonna knock this free throw down. But the minute you start doubting yourself and thinking like, I don't want to miss it, even if you say I'm not trying to miss it, that's still, it doesn't, the law of attraction, the way it works, it doesn't hear that you don't want. It hears that missed free throw. That's it. So once you think about a missed free throw, whether you say you don't want it or you do, it's gonna give you a missed free throw a lot of times out of none. If you think about, if you go in there, that's why they say confidence is important, because in your mind you're sure of things, and that's what you need to be sure of. You got to be confident. Confidence is definitely a major key, and once you have the confidence, people will be attracted.
There you go.
And that's all I got.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, look, man, you did a fantastic job tonight, man. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to appear on my podcast, talking about your work. Preach to you just there, and I believe people will receive it. And from my end to yours, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're gonna shine. Hopefully you get to a point where they're going to nominate you, and I'm going to see you on television. I'm going to turn the channel and be like, yo, I know that guy. I interviewed him. There you go. Once I said it, he was going to get a nomination, and there you go, man.
I'm just glad. Hey, yeah, I'm just glad I get to be one of the first ones that you interview for you take off somewhere, bro. What I'm number 10 or something? What number am I? What number am I?
Man, so I'll say this, you're number 4 for this live interview, because this is like I'm doing a live interview now. But as far as podcasting, you're like, this is episode 28. And the next 2 episodes will be 30. I've been doing this since December of last year.
Well, as long as I make the top 30, I'm good. I made the top 30. As long as I made the top 30, I'm good. But I'm one of the first ones as far as live interview, and that's dope, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. I need more. I need to see more of this. I need to see more, man. And if real quick, if I can let people know some of my projects I got out real quick, so in case they were wondering, if anybody likes R&B, rap, Zeta Dawn, I got new project out, 3 new projects out. One dedicated to Kobe, Mamba Mentality out all everywhere. The Don King out everywhere. Dre Scott, me and Sweater Guy did a joint project together. It's out right now, all on all major streaming out. Platforms. I also just released another project a few days ago called Pass the Weed, and of course I don't have nobody to pass to, so I ain't gonna be passing in this broadcast. I will pass to you, but then we ain't got that far to technological realm yet. But we'll get there.
No.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You know, it Bugs Bunny and them can do that. You know that's eventually gonna happen. You know, in cartoon they can do anything.
They gonna find a way. Where we gonna be able to pass blunts through the phone soon. It's gonna happen. And definitely don't forget.
It's gonna get live.
Gilly the Kid hosting that project. It's called Who Dropping Gang. Zeta Dawn's on that too. Go get that May 28th. That's coming out in about 6 days, I think. It's gonna be a major key out here in the streets, man. We're gonna rep Baltimore to the fullest, man. I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity that was given to me by Gilly the Kid, man. I got a stamp of approval, and that's all I needed. That's all I needed, man. Can't nobody tell me shit. So I'm just going with that. I'm just going like that, man, with the Kobe Mamba mentality.
So tell the folks, man. So you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, right?
Yep, I'm on Facebook. Zay Craig, that's my person. I really don't be on there. Only I only got like 50 people I'm friends with on there, and I know them all because I don't trust people out here spying on people on these social media shits. You know, there's some cowards on here, slithering through the grass. But on Instagram, at the real Zay the Dawn, you can find me there. ZAYTHEDON, just like it's spelled on the bottom of the screen. If you can Google me, Zay the Dawn, you'll find all my latest music. Make sure you follow me. All of that is appreciated. I can't do any of this without any of y'all. So I appreciate it.
Ain't no problem, man. I'll be sure to post your info in terms of how people can do your work at the bottom of the screen once we wrap up here.
That's what's up.
Man. Thank you for taking the time to appear on my podcast, PE Slick Podcast. Man, I would love to have you come back to talk more about your work as soon as you can, man. I appreciate it.
Most definitely appreciate you for having me, bro.
Listen, you have a good night, man. Hey, absolutely, man. You have a good night. You be safe, man, and keep doing your thing, bro. Holla at you.
Holla at you, bro.
Well, folks, you saw it now. I'm happy to have had Zane the Dawn on my podcast. He's the second Baltimore singer I've had on my podcast. I hope more to come. I hope Zane can come back and stay tuned. More to come. You have a good night now. Goodbye and God bless.